Folks, I think everyone gets to ramble once in a while, and I think I will ramble a bit. Um, the images that I see in stone, they're horses, elephants, birds, turtles, snakes, camels, bears, people, and in the elephants, I see two different types of elephants. There's a flat-topped elephant, sort of, and then one that has a hump, which would be a woolly mammoth. But another one is one with a bifurcated trunk. It comes down and splits about halfway down, and I've seen about 3 or 4 of these in my stone tool collection. I have about 1,000 now. I didn't pay much attention to them when I saw them, so they're in a box. They're somewhere. I have to go searching for them. And there's only 3 or 4 that I saw that. And when I first saw those little trunks, I tried to make it something else. I thought maybe it's a wing or a bird or a snake or something. But a couple of days ago, I saw a documentary about elephants, so there was a bifurcated trunk elephant. Anyway, I have to research that. I've got to go through all these stones again. But those critters right there, and I can recognize eyes and wings and ears and mouths, but that's very few. There was many animals that lived 100,000 years plus years ago, small and big. And if I was a young man, I would research all those animals so I could recognize their face. And because just these few is what, triggers my, when I'm looking at something. And, but those few, they do jump out at me. Anyway, I wish somebody would do that and then tell me so I don't have to go to all the work to look at all my stones and find all those bifurcated elephants. But more than that, someone that'll tell me what these animals look like without me doing it. Oh yeah, we was rambling. But the only real story that I see developing with my collection and my study is that it's the thunderbird and the snake in battle. And I find it on so many. I'm almost ready to say that I find it on 50% or more of any stone tool out there will have this image if you look for it really careful. So it was an important image, important symbolism. And I think, what do I think? Oh, I think it symbolizes in each person they're seeking balance within themselves, sort of like that symbol. And I feel that the winged serpent is a person, well, that understands that balance. The winged serpent understands that balance. I'm just getting that feeling when I see those images in pictographs and on the rocks and stuff. And a person with wings is a person that is aspiring to be the Thunderbird. In other words, for those folks, they were seeking nirvana, just like us. My explanation of the Sphinx enclosure. Now, I like doing this. I just started checking this out a week ago, and so I know nothing. So my thoughts come from way out there. But you have the Nile River and the pyramids and the Sphinx enclosure. I sort of think that that enclosure was just a big swimming pool that was fed from the Nile. Now, there was a lot of folks that lived along the Nile, I'm sure. You can't call them poor folks. They're probably happy as a rip. I was poor, I was happy. But, you don't want to put your kids out in the river where there's crocodiles. And there's this great big swimming pool right there, which is also a reserve tank to keep that pressure or whatever it takes to run the water under the pyramid. You know, like a battery, you have to change it once in a while, or something like that, maybe a constant rate, to power this energy machine. So it was both a swimming pool and a water reserve to control the water flow under the pyramid. And no, I think that's enough silliness. Bye for now, folks. Here's just a few examples of carving that I know were done on purpose. And I've had this around for a while, and I always say, oh, horse. And it does look kind of like a horse. But these folks, and it didn't look like an elephant because it just didn't have the right top. But these folks knew what they were carving, and they didn't just accidentally leave that trunk wider or something for an elephant, or make a nose and face like that for a horse. So that's some sort of animal that I do not recognize. It's going to take a lot of study to study all these faces. And there's another one. I know it's a face, but what kind of face? What kind of animal would have a face like that? And this, I would like to think, well, it was a fella in a war bonnet or something, some feathered headdress. But that could be not that at all. It could be some sort of animal that looks like that, which just doesn't jump out to me. I don't see it every day. And this one, what kind of animal would look like that with that kind of beak or nose or whatever? I mean, the way it's carved out, I know it's something that they're showing. For instance, there's a cortex side, which is softer, and that eye was easier to peck in there than that one right there. But they still pecked it in there in the hard part of the stone. So it's two eyes looking this direction that looks like that. That's my mystery right now. I can't recognize many of these images.